Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Veteran Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Scott Brewer. I am the owner of the podcast and DotMil Media and DotMil Gear. So this week what we're going to talk about is basically how much it cost me to start up my business. Did I take a loan out? Was I profitable? When was I profitable? And sort of the processes that go along with all three of those. And then I'll touch on some other things at the end as far as what you should be thinking about as you try to explore your entrepreneurial spirit. So the associated costs with starting my business were relatively simple. I started my business for less than $1,000. The first thing I had to do was file for a federal EIN number through the IRS. That basically gives you a tax ID code so you can file federal taxes. That didn't cost me anything. That's a real easy, simple thing to get done. Doesn't really require much. From there, I had to file in the state of Virginia, which is where I'm currently located, which is where my business is established. But all of my shipping comes out of Washington State because that's where my manufacturing is done and all the shipping is done from there. So from there, I filed with the state of Virginia. It cost me about $200 total to file for my LLC. That was sort of a pain in the ass. I actually had to get somebody else involved because it was just kind of confusing, especially given the fact that this is an e-commerce business. It's not as straightforward as some of the other business ventures that other people go into. Again, that cost me about $200, and that was basically it. From there, what else we have? We had the website domain. So once I understood what my business was, the name of my business, I then went to look on the internet for the website domain. So I was looking for DotMil Gear, DotMil, I forget the other ones I was going with, but I ended up going with DotMil Gear, obviously. That cost me about $19.99 a month. Really straightforward. I went through GoDaddy. They give you a few options. You get an email that you can link to it and associate with the business. So it's, Scott at, dotmilgear.com. Or they also provide some other search engine optimization features that you can elect for. Each one comes with an additional cost. Again, not much, $19.99 a month, easy day. I locked that in, and then I went into my e-commerce platform, and I went with Shopify. That's one of the more higher rated platforms. It's really user-friendly. When I first got into it, I didn't really know what I was looking at because I've never done anything like that before. It took me a couple days, and then I was up and running. I put together my website through Shopify. That was also relatively simple. It's very functional. It's not like the best looking website ever, obviously. And when I get some funds, I will definitely invest some funds into producing a more professional looking website with some additional features. But that cost was about $70 flat membership. From there, you'll get charged additional costs from goods that you're selling, other applications that you add onto your Shopify platform. So, and I'm going to go into some of those, but you can basically, like, you have an app store for your iPhone or your Android. You have the same thing on Shopify, and it's all these little things and companies and businesses and little extra helps that sort of supplement your platform to help make it run more smoothly and more efficiently. So the first one I went with was Shipstation, and that basically just allows you to manage your shipping. Super easy. It was like $9.99 a month. It's super vital if you're going to be shipping things throughout the country and or internationally. The next one I got was stamps.com. I created a membership through them. I think again it was like $9.99 or these things together were no more than $30. That's a really good one. It's important that you get that, especially if you're shipping goods, because you get super discounted rates. So instead of going to the post office and paying top rate, you're going to get I think it's almost like a 70% discount by going through stamps.com. So it really makes it way more worth your while to do that. Next one is Mailchimp. I went with Mailchimp for my mass marketing email platform. Again, that one, I don't remember off the top of my head, less than $20 a month. And again, user friendly. There was a variety of them that I could have chose from, but that one was pretty straightforward. A lot of people had recommended it to me. It's a good starting point. So I set it up, I did it. I've only sent out about 5 mass emails. I'm just still learning how to even do it. It's not so much the platform, it's me. From there, the big issue that I had to contend with that I didn't really foresee was the tax piece because of my business, because it's e-commerce business. I'm selling in every state, right? And so each state has their own requirement and their own tax code. So to be compliant with those posed a huge issue for me, because it's like I don't know what Utah's doing, or Kansas, or Maine, or whatever, Iowa. So I ended up hiring an accountant to basically handle that. And to coincide with the accountant, I also downloaded the QuickBooks apps, which I also linked to my Shopify with the other previous mentioned apps, the Mailchimp, Stamps.com, Shipstation. So, anyways, I linked that to my Shopify. That basically tracks all the transactions. My accountant is linked to that. They go in there, they hand jam whatever they hand jam. They're basically reconciling numbers, giving me my profit loss statements, all that stuff. So I pay, again, I think it's like 50 or 60 bucks for the QuickBooks a month. And then on top of that, every quarter I pay my accountant about 200 bucks, and they go in there and make sure my numbers are good, taxes are paid, because in the state of Virginia, you have to pay your taxes every month for your business. So I don't know, if you're in a different state, you have to check that out. It's something that you have to look into and figure out what it is that you have to pay and how often you have to pay it. When I was in Florida, filing for the LLC in Florida cost me like 30 bucks. Paying taxes was annual. It wasn't month to month, which I find is to be a lot easier. But moving on, next cost was the logo. So I sourced my logo out of 99designs.com, and basically it's a crowdsourced platform for graphic designers. So you basically create a campaign, you put in whatever the hell you want. I'm Joe Schmo and I'm looking for this type of design or this type of logo. These are what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an urban style. I'm looking for this, whatever. You create your campaign. You can either elect one of two things. You can elect to pay out on the campaign regardless of the designs you receive, or you can elect to not pay out for your campaign. I only bring this up because it is important. If you're going to source an image from this particular platform and many others, it's really in your best interest to pay out no matter what, because the amount of traffic you're going to get if the designers see that you're going to pay out is going to be much larger than if you didn't opt to pay out, because they see that on their end. So you're looking to create a logo or an image or a shirt, whatever. When they get that order, when the designers see that on that platform, they see that. So that was my experience. I elected not to pay out the first time. Didn't work out. Got tons of shitty designs. I elected to pay out. Quality designs went up. I ended up with the logo that I have. Many of you have seen it, and I really like it. So I was happy with that. In addition to that, I also did my first design through them as well. Each one, so the logo, I think, going back, the logo cost me, I think, about 200 bucks. The initial shirt design cost me about 200 bucks. And that's basically where I was at to bring my business to a functional state. All right, so I had all the different domains set up, the LLC, the EIN, the federal ID. I had Shopify, website domain, Shipstation, Stamps.com, QuickBooks, accountant, and I was sitting just about under $1,000 with my first design out there for purchase. So that was a really exciting thing for me, because I didn't have a lot of money, and that sort of brings me into the next piece, which is, did I take a loan? No, I didn't take a loan. I don't plan on taking a loan. I would suggest you don't either. I'm not, a finance major. I have no idea what your business is, what your, your revenue is or isn't. And I don't know, what your particular business idea would entail. So I'm not really here to give you my advice on it, but if you can avoid it, avoid it. I mean, I guess that's my piece. The next question is, how long did it take for me to be profitable? it took me about a month. So that first month, I dropped that $1,000 or just shy of $1,000. When I sold that first shirt, boom, I had a profit. That 30 days later, I had a profit. It wasn't a huge profit, but nonetheless, it was a profit. So the big thing that that helped me was I sort of knew my market, right? Like I want to go towards veterans, and I want to market towards veterans. So I started out with the community that I'm most close with, which was the people from my first unit, 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines. It has a long history. I did 2 deployments with them. They were really rough deployments. There's a lot of unity and family and cohesion within that particular subculture community in the Marine Corps. So I targeted them for obvious reasons, but my idea for this business actually also stemmed from that family. And so going into that a little bit, I attended a reunion, a 2-9 reunion put on by the Vietnam era guys last year in Arlington, Virginia. And after talking with a lot of the guys, it became apparent that they struggle financially to put that on every year. It costs them about 15 grand. They barely make it to 15 grand every year. And sometimes the guy who runs it, he's got to pull strings to make it happen. So that was sort of the start of my idea of why I wanted to start DotMil, was because I basically want to help them, financially to be able to put this on. I think it's important because they're looking to sort of transfer, that reunion to my era, the OIF, OEF era guys. And, if no one sort of takes the realm, if there's no finances there, it's just not going to happen. And these guys have been working at this for 20 years. So, it was important for me to try to come up with something to try to help these guys out. And that just sort of snowballed the idea of just kind of like, oh my God, like, well, if I can do this, why can't I try to, document my experience and help other veterans out who want to open a business, who don't know how to open a business, who are scared to open a business like I am, or like I was. And that's an ongoing thing that doesn't really necessarily go away. Next piece, what do I do with the profit? That basically sort of ties into it, So I want to give back to the 2-9 community. That's my first and foremost priority. But looking beyond that, what I'm looking to do long term is create a platform that can help veterans start their businesses and gain the knowledge and tools and seek out knowledge from other veterans. So through this podcast, I have people, and I will have people on the podcast who own businesses that are veterans that can give their story and their experience. And this will range from all sorts of different domains within the business industry. This might be carpenters, this might be fitness trainers, this might be, other apparel companies, coffee companies, whatever it is. I'm gonna bring them here, I'm gonna talk to them, I'm gonna sit them down, and we're gonna get to the bottom of how they made it happen. And I'm hoping that will inspire veterans like yourself and active duty members like yourself, to go ahead and take this leap of faith. And take control of your financial future and whatever it is that you aspire to. So that's really, really important to me, and that's sort of where I see like that path going. Even longer term than that, looking out maybe 10 years from now, I want to get into TAPS. I want to get into these transition classes for these active duty guys as they get out, because there's a real small emphasis put on entrepreneurship. Everyone's talking about resume writing, and the Department of Labor comes and the VA comes and they give their spiel, and you do like a half a day of resume writing and your bullet points pretty much suck, and you're basically kind of shoved out of the system. And so that's something that I want to address. I want to be able to get into TAPS or at least provide a program that's like, yo dude, you can come TAD to my class or whatever, you sign up through my website or whatever it is. I want to provide that link that's not there. There's a lot of businesses that are out there that are donating money and doing great work and building houses, and that's amazing stuff. I'm not knocking that at all. But it's not a path that I want to go down because it's so saturated. And I feel like, what a better way to influence veterans than just to show my progression and, show them that, hey, I don't know a goddamn thing. I don't even have a functioning podcast. I mean, this thing, hello, it doesn't even work. You know what I'm saying? I got a shitty ass light looking down on me. I mean, this is ghetto, but this is how it starts. And I think that's the beauty of of why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I think it'll be impactful to people like yourself. So moving on, things to think about. If you have an idea, just sort of hash it out. Like, is it a service? Is it an idea? Is it an invention? Is it a product? Understand what it is that you're thinking about, write it down, and just try to formulate some sort of generic plan. It doesn't have to be a 10-page business plan. I don't have a business plan. A lot of people that I've talked to so far, like, dude, I've never had one. It's not necessarily required. Don't get wrapped up around the axle about it. Also think about who's your market. For me, it was very obvious. I'm really tailoring this to the veteran community and the active duty community. If I branch out into like the law enforcement and even just your general populace, great, but it's not really what I'm after. I'm really focused on reaching you guys and helping you guys grow and prosper. When I have said veteran on and we're talking about his business, I want him getting looks. It's not just about me. It's not about this podcast. It's about supporting veterans who are on the podcast. It's marketing for them. It's for them to get their idea. I'm like, dude, I like that guy. I want to go support him. And then we got veterans helping veterans, and it just doesn't get any better than that. And so that's sort of my vision. Sorry to go back on a tangent. Moving on, you're a COA, your course of action. What's your course of action? How can you execute? Okay, I got to do step one, get an EIN number. Cool. This is barring that you have an idea and everything. Okay, got to get an EIN. All right, cool. Got to register in my state. Roger. Moving on. What do I got to do? How do I get a website? All this other type of stuff. And it's something that I'm going to try to expand on in another video and sort of go down the rabbit hole. But that's important. What's your course of action? And then how are you going to reach this market? Social media, podcast, YouTube, whatever it is, Facebook. Just outline some sort of plan, create a little checklist. I got my phone, I do the little notes, and I just write down things. I write down shirt ideas. I've got so many ideas and not nearly enough funding to make it happen, and that's okay. But when the funding comes, bam, I'll knock it out and I'll help fucking, give back and support the community. So anyways, that sort of wraps up the podcast. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet, meat and potatoes. Please support. We've got our coffee out. We got our whole line. We got 8 different flavors of coffee, ranging from light roast to medium roast to dark roast. We've got cups. We've got some shirts. We've got some shirts on the way that is more broadened for everyone else. We've got hats. These hats are bomb. It's a great hat. Little 3D circle here. Logo looks good. Please support. Do me a favor. Please please subscribe to the channel, and please share this video with one friend. All right, one friend, one veteran that has an idea, is starting a business. Whoever has that entrepreneurial fire in them, please share it with them. All right, please help me out. Please help them out. Together we can rise together. I appreciate you. Until next time, stay motivated.